George Kansas rolling up the sleeves, taking the kendo stick from Brandon Scott, going for George Kansas. This is going to be so cathartic for everyone in the building, all of us. Brandon, George, it's going to be great.
Over 10 years in the making of sports, George Kansas has the authority to make the count.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Hello? Oh, there you guys are.
And we're back here on 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV. We have a special guest with us. He is known as Mr. Excellence from Virginia Championship Wrestling. Brandon Scott, so kind to join us despite what happened with our once-upon-a-time pal, George Pontus, turning heel. And Ed is still mad at George about this. But the big card coming up, Virginia Championship Wrestling, is going to take place a week from today at the Norfolk Masonic Temple on Granby Street. Doors opening at 6:30, the bell time at 7:30. For more information, how you can get tickets. I know the front row seats are sold out, but there's still plenty of good ones available. Go out there for VCW Wrestling. It's at VCWProWrestling.com. We say hello to Brandon Scott. Brandon, thanks for stopping by, and I know you're hoping for a better night of wrestling than that one was we showed here to start off our segment.
I know that was hard to believe. And I still after all these months, I still can't believe what happened. George has always been my friend. He's always had my back. And just to see him turn on me like that and join, Jerry Stephanisis out of everyone, I don't think anybody's seen that coming. I sure didn't see it coming at all. And, it still breaks my heart that, he turned his back on, all the Virginia Championship Wrestling fans, and especially me, man. After all we've been through and everything we've, he's always had my back, even when Jerry was down my throat and not giving me, chances at the championship. George was always there to be like, hey, I'm gonna call this right down the middle. And just to see him do something like that is just shocking to me. So, but his time's coming for sure.
Good to know. Well, you certainly are well regarded in the wrestling sport. You were the longest reigning VCW heavyweight champion, and you've been in AEW. You've appeared in WWE. You've fought some of the best fighters out there, and we'll dive into that. But let's start at the very beginning for you. How you got involved with wrestling? Take us from the whole genesis of it, and we'll get ahead to what's on tap for you.
Pretty much my whole life, I've watched wrestling. My dad was a big influence, with the watching wrestling. He took me to my first wrestling event, which was WCW back in 92, 93. They actually came to the high school that I went to. So, I always fell in love with, just everything about it. WCW was my thing. Me and my dad, every Monday night, we would watch wrestling. It didn't matter if it was Monday, Thursday, whatever it was. We were always watching wrestling together, and that made us have a bond that was unbreakable. So I grew up in that era of the Attitude Era and the NWO. So those were just great times, that you can't get back. So I don't know, I've always loved it, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. So then when I became a teenager, my dad we started traveling to independent wrestling, which I didn't even know was a thing. But I started Googling wrestling that was close in the area, but I didn't find anything because a lot of the times, wrestling didn't come around here in Harrisonburg. Every now and then we had like an independent promotion, but I didn't even know what it was at that time because I was just so young. I was just like, I don't know what this is. This is a bunch of, wrestlers getting together and, having this show. And I started Googling different shows, and I finally came across this show in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It was called the House of Pain Wrestling Federation. Not sure if you know who they are, but they were based out of Maryland at the time. But it was ran by a guy named John Rambo, and I started going there just monthly. They would have monthly independent shows. So my dad, we would put the map quest in because there was no GPS then, so we map quest everything out. The directions there, the directions back, and we would go there monthly and watch these shows in Martinsburg, and then we would go to Maryland, and we would go to Pennsylvania. So we drive everywhere just to see these shows. And me being the biggest wrestling fan that you can find, when I turned 17, I got into wrestling. There was so they were doing a drawing where you could actually be a special guest referee for one of the shows. It's like one of those like 50-50 drawings where they draw your ticket. You could pick to ref one of the matches, and they drew my ticket, and I was lucky enough to ref one of these matches. And it was unbelievable. I'm a 17-year-old kid that like is just like being the biggest like mark ever, as you say. I drew the ticket. They drew my ticket, and I got to get in the ring. I didn't know what was going on. They didn't tell me anything. They're just like, go out there, kid, and count to 3 when it happens, And I was like, okay, I at that time, I still didn't know how things worked, but my name got drew, and after that, I was just like, I was hooked. I was hooked before, but even more now that I was more than before. I was like, how do I get into this? And so I knew there was a school in Hagerstown called the Superior Pro Wrestling Training Center, which John Rambo ran. And so when I was 17, I went up. We drove up one day, and I signed the paperwork, and the rest is history. Well, my dad had to sign for me because I was underage still, but the rest is history from there.
Pretty cool story here with Brandon Scott, Mr. Excellence, Virginia Championship Wrestling, coming to the Norfolk Masonic Temple on Granby Street a week from today. VCWProWrestling.com, how you can get your tickets. Rex Lawless, the matchup, we'll dive in on that. But a guy in Brandon Scott who's faced some of the fighters out there that people have heard of in wrestling: Carlito, Billy Gunn, Gangrel, Jeff Jarrett, Jimmy Snuka, Tommy Dreamer, Matt Hardy, Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner, and so many others. It's 757 Sports Talk, and you're watching with us here on CoVA Sports TV. Ed?
Yeah, Brandon, well, appreciate you obviously coming on. We've been dying to try to get you, but Mr. Pontus has denied us access because he knows we're going to find the real story.
Well, you don't have to listen to anything he says. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you just message me. George doesn't run my life, so screw George. Screw him.
and no, because you know what? I like that because he got you. Now, we try to maintain a friendship with him because Jerry, the mouse, or whoever the guy is, Steakanopoulos, is going to turn on him eventually. So, and then he's going to come crawling back to you. It's going to happen. I can see it. I try to tell George this, and he waves me off. But he and what he did to you is the bad thing over there at the Portsmouth Pavilion when he went between the legs stuff. That's what I got on George. I said, George, why not face to face with him? Brandon has been face to face with you all the career. Now you want to go behind and do some of that again, Jerry, whatever the heck his name is.
Yeah, if they missed it, here it was again, Ed, for folks that missed it. 30 seconds. This is what happened. I mean, this was pretty gruesome.
Howard.
Just absolutely unnecessary, right?
Unnecessary. Like I told you guys just a little bit ago, like I'm just shocked. And I don't know why George did it, and he keeps mentioning he's done all this stuff for me and got me all these opportunities. Like I haven't worked hard my whole life to get the opportunities that I have deserved, that I've earned. Because this business isn't easy, and being I'm not the biggest guy out there, but I have the biggest heart, so I'm always going to give my all. And I just to hear George be like, I've gotten you all these opportunities, and what have you done in return for me? Like, what? It doesn't even make any sense. I just don't get it. And like I told you, his time is coming, and I'm going to get him right between the legs too.
Well, like I said, that's going to be good. Of course, now you got the big matchup with Rex Lawless now back for your try to get back your title. And you got to put your emphasis in there, and hopefully George doesn't do none of his sneaky things and disrupt or distract you in this championship match, which I wouldn't put past him. But tell us about Mr. Lawless, and I don't want you giving away any of your secrets, but some things that you're thinking about, what you're going to have to do next week, February 7th, Masonic Temple, Norfolk. People got to get out and see it. What about Rex?
Well, if you guys have seen Rex, that dude is massive. He's a giant, so I'm definitely going to have to kill him. I'm going to have to chop down those legs and, take him out because the dude is big. He's athletic. I mean, have you seen Rex in person? Yes. Have you guys seen him? He's athletic. He's an amazing competitor. He's been a great champion at VCW, but that comes to an end next Saturday, February 7th at the Masonic Temple. Like I said, I'm just going to chop down those legs, and I'm going to, do the best I can to get him down. And because I've known Rex for a long time, and we've been in the ring in the past, and he's gotten the better of me, but this is for the championship. This is for the title that I want back that I haven't had in 4 years. So I'm just looking forward to, having a great match. But like you said, I have to keep some eyes in the back of my head because I know George is going to be lurking around with probably the Greek god Papadon as well. So if you remember, in December, he's trying to cash in his Liberty Lottery title shot at any time. So I got to keep that in mind too, that's not going to happen on Saturday. So if I do win the title, I'm definitely going to have to be on the lookout for them.
And you mentioned the Greek god Papadon. He was on our show here too, and he was a pompous whatever. I don't want to say it out loud on the show too. After we gave
Ed and Papadon almost came to blows. It was pretty nasty. Yeah.
Well, if I got to, I don't have any problem. I'm knocking some of these guys upside their head. I have no problem with that. And if I have to, not that Brandon needs it, I would be there ringside, and I would make sure. Now, I can't make that show, but I would make sure Mr. Pontus doesn't interfere because I would got something for George to kind of get his brain back to being right.
Oh, yeah. Ed, you're welcome to be there. I wish you could be there so you could actually knock the living crap out of George. And if you want to take a shot at the Greek god, too, you can, too, since he was giving you such a hard time when he was on your show. He's just an arrogant prick. That's all he is. And what do they call him at VCW? What did the fans call him? What do they call him? Papa John's or something? Papa? Yeah. What are they?
Yeah. He's full of himself. I had to tell him he had to stand on one of the old phone books so we could see his. He's kind of short, so we told him, "Hey man, why don't you stand up so we can talk to you?" He got mad. He said, "I am standing up." Well, I just didn't know that.
But Ed, you got to be careful now. You're not that young spring chicken anymore. I know your last name is Young. You don't want to be breaking bones here with some of these athletic wrestlers.
Yeah,
but Brandon, you have some great competitors, and the field coming up for next week is a pretty good one in addition to your match.
Yeah. I mean, the whole card at VCW looks really good. There's a lot of new people coming in, so if you haven't been to a VCW show, this is one to check out because it's at the Masonic Temple. And like you guys said, there is not a bad seat in that house. It's a great wrestling venue. It kind of reminds me of the old NWA taping style. So it's probably one of my favorite buildings to wrestle in. So
Yeah, Brandon Scott, Mr. Excellence, challenging Rex Lawless for the Virginia Heavyweight Championship. You have Commander King defending the VCW Liberty Championship for the final time against LDJ. If King is counted out or disqualified, he will lose the title. You have Joya Blake facing Big Daddy Adriana, Myron Malone, and the Hoss of all Hosses. Devontae's teams up against Tiberius Asante and Greek God Papadon with Mr. Pontus. All kinds of matchups. Again, VCWProWrestling.com. How you can get your tickets. Doors open at 6:30, bell time at 7:30. Those front row seats are sold out, Ed, but a lot of good seats available, and it should be a fun time next week.
Yeah, and of course now, Brandon, Matt and I have been to the shows. We usually get the second row. We don't get right there, the ringside second row. But you're right, great seats. Kind of the old. Also reminds me of the old bingo hall ECW used to wrestle in. It got great seats all over the place. And you mentioned Johnny Rambo. Rambo was an ECW guy, and he was all over the place too. And I remember he got his early start out in the Portland, Oregon area under Don Owens promotions out there, where which was a big time wrestling at once upon a time until Mr. McMahon took over all the territories. We know how all that ended up happening. And of course, the independent groups of wrestling, I am excited about them. You know, when I've learned about VCW, I try not to miss a show because you guys, Brandon, really put out. I know we get used to seeing the big stars, Rock and Undertaker and John Cena on TV and all that production and whatever. But you guys in those smaller venues really put out there, and you've got regular jobs, regular families, and you put on a true show. And I appreciate that as a fan and watching that. And I think people that have not seen it, I know some people give that little side eye to wrestling, like, oh yeah, wrestling, come on now, it's not a sport. I learned long ago, it's just go in there and try to do the stuff they're doing. It is a sport. It might be somewhat, quote, entertainment, some preconceived ideas or understanding, but what happens in that ring at any split second, injuries can occur, and you know, lives are on the line. In a way, you fall down, hit your head on something, become paralyzed, and that's happened to wrestlers. That's not nothing that's fake or made up.
Nah, man. Everything that we do in that ring, it definitely hurts. It takes a toll on the body. Every bump, every bruise that we get, like it's there. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years, and like it doesn't get easier. I can tell you that. My body has been through it all. You know, I've been lucky not to have any kind of serious injury, so I've been lucky on that part. You know, but I have had some, you know, bumps and bruises, maybe concussion here or there, but that's kind of normal when you're in our business. So no, but like, you can't tell me like if you get slammed on that mat, like you can't tell me that's not gonna hurt. Like that's silly. Like anybody that says that doesn't hurt or like that's just fake, that they're joking themselves. You go to a movie and be like, oh my gosh, that's fake. No, you don't say that, because we're out there. We're providing a show for you guys, and we want you to be entertained, but also, you know, we're making it as real as what we can to, you know, to provide, you know, this entertainment for you guys for the night. And I don't know. I just hate when people use the word like fake. Fake is just like the worst thing that you could ever say to anyone in our business. Like, it's just such a slap in the face, because nothing that we do out there is fake. I mean, you like the chair shots. That's why you can't hit anybody in the head with a chair anymore, for Christ's sake, because the concussions like that we didn't know about, you know, and that's why like a lot of people were suffering from CTE and everything else because of all the stuff that was done back then. Can you imagine being a part of like the ECW era? Like that was, you know, that was great, but like those guys, I'm sure, you know, like you see them now, and a lot of them are really struggling, or they're not even with us anymore, which is sad. You know, our childhood of, like my childhood of wrestling, and probably yours even more, like they're gone, you know what I mean? So it's just crazy when people try to say stuff like that.
Well, and here, Brandon, here's what I tell people about being fake or whatever. When I was in college, our wrestling coach knew a lot of the professional wrestlers, and they came in town one day. They had to ring up. It was at Lock Haven University. They had the show there. So I jumped up there. When wrestling class, we had to work the matches that night, help out where need be for a grade. So I decided with my stupid young self in college, I'm going to go up here and run the ropes because I see people, running the ropes. So I go across the ring to hit the rope. I down there tore my head off, fell down, thought I ripped the knee apart, and rolled out on the mat, fell off on the thing, and there's people looking at me like, what's wrong with you? You all right? I go, I'll never do that again. That was just trying to run the ropes. And then when I saw them, we went to one of the schools, like you talked about. Johnny Rambo had a school where they had to train for professional wrestling, and I said to myself, because I was thinking about trying to do it, I said, hey, no way I'm doing this stuff, because it was like military. And when people would say, the wrestlers would talk and say, so what do you think? We just come out here and automatically be able to do this? You got to know how to protect your body. You got to know how to do the shot, so to speak, in there. So it is, and I get on people when they tell me, how can you be old guy like you like wrestling? You know what? That ain't real. I said, tell you what, why don't you go try it? Let's see how really real it is. But we appreciate it too, Brandon, that you coming on and giving us all these stories. And I'm really disappointed. I have another engagement. The young lady wants to a different evening with something out there, so I can't go. I'll admit it, and that's why I'm not going to be there. But I will definitely make the next show in March. I think you guys are going to Hampton High School.
Hampton High, yeah.
I'm going to try to make that one. We'll try to drag Matt out there for that one too. He's got a million things going on too. We need to get him out there and in there. And I did tell George this one thing. He's got to set up where Matt and I have a match out there. It'll be 20 seconds.
You won't let it catch me.
Once I throw him over the top rope, it'll be over. But that would be the fans would probably like to see some of that stuff too.
Yeah, man. Like I'm glad you guys have me on here. This is really cool. I love just talking about wrestling. I love talking about the business. I could talk about it all day. So we could be here all day talking about wrestling, because I have so many stories I could tell you guys, and like so many of the opportunities that I've actually had. Like it's kind of unreal to me. Like when I think about it, like I'm just so blessed of what I've been able to do in the wrestling business, coming from this 120-pound kid that didn't even think he was going to go anywhere. So. And I've had more opportunities than I can't even imagine. It's so unreal.
Really neat. Before I let you run here, any parting shot, any final words to your fans out there for next week? Should be a lot of fun with you and Rex Lawless going head to head.
Yeah, man. I just hope if you guys haven't been to VCW or you haven't been to an independent wrestling show, this is one that you don't want to miss. We are family friendly, so you don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry about the most expensive prices that are going on right now. This is, I think it's affordable for families to come. Bring your friend, bring your girlfriend, bring your wife, bring whoever. You just, like, if you have not been to the Masonic Temple, it is a beautiful, beautiful building. And it's just great for wrestling. And the fans that come out, they show up and they're in it all night long. It's insane. Like, you guys have been to the Masonic Temple, so like the energy's always there. Like, it's always exciting. Like, and the more excited the fans are, the more we get. It brings more of us out, into you guys. So, and we feed off that energy. So we love when you guys show up and new people show up that've never been to a show that are like, oh my gosh, like I've never been to an independent show. I've never been to VCW, and this is better than what we see on TV, which is kind of crazy. But we love hearing that. So
terrific. We've got Brandon Scott, our guest here today, Mr. Excellence, VCW Pro Wrestling. Coming up next week, Norfolk Masonic Temple, Granby Street. Get on out there, VCWProWrestling.com for more details and how you can get your tickets for next week's match. Always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the program, Brandon. We look forward to talking to you again down the road, and you have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate you, and I hope to be back on your show so we can maybe do some more stories, go into depth about, me challenging for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. That was a good one. So
there you go.
Yeah, count on it. We're definitely going to be coming up with more shows, and I will get you on here, let you be a regular, because we do support independent wrestling. We think there's a niche for it in the sport world, and our local people need to get out and support it, because if not, We end up losing it. We're losing something that's really good. And like you said, it's family friendly. It's a good show. The money is definitely worth the money because it's not expensive. I'm not paying $500 to go sit ringside at a WWE show or whatever. I love the idea of Virginia Championship Wrestling. We got to let you get going. Thank you again and good luck. Get that title back, man. Get that title back.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Thank you, Brandon. It's
Thank you.
Mr. Excellence, our guest here from Virginia Championship Wrestling. More to come here on 757 Sports Talk, including we'll be doing Take Your Pick and